Good news, it's not green. Are you really going to put wood stain on your concrete? And I'm like, well, I don't know.
Welcome to
These are the 3 castings that we're eventually going to be staining. And you can see my problem. So one of these castings accidentally got broken somehow, and we had to make a new one, okay? So they're completely different cream texture, and I'm trying to get them all the same, and that's why I'm using acid versus acetone, is because my understanding is you can sneak up on acid with different levels. So you just mix it halfway, and then you can just do multiple layers. So if this one is a little bit darker than this one, well, then I can just hit this one again and bring them all to the same color or density or opaqueness or whatever I'm shooting for, right? It gives me options and control. Thank you. You're awesome, babe. This is the color I'm shooting for. You can tell, you see how dark that is? That was because it was, treated prior. And then you can look up and you see that's the poplar, and it's not near as dark as this. And we thought, hey, it'd be kind of cool to make the ring around the fire pit, match these. I don't know, I just kind of came up with it. And since it's a fire pit, it's going to have like marshmallows and, wine glasses and all kinds of nonsense on it that's just going to get it funkier and funkier and funkier through time, right? And so darker the better, right? I mean, we can't keep it cream. Like this color wouldn't, no, it's not going to work, right? I mean, we can all agree that. This is the stain I'm rolling with. It's a Heritage Reactive concrete stain and Cardinal. It's got the most red in it because I'm shooting for a mahogany type finish. And then we got Surfkoat Balance, It neutralizer and enhancers it. And then we have good old-fashioned Minwax furniture paste, interior. So that's where the experimenting comes in, right? Because you're like, nowhere on it does it say fire casting concrete finishing stuff. In the immortal words of Sylvester, safety first, everybody, safety first. So I'm doing a 10-to-1 dilution right off the rip, and I'm doing a little sample right off the rip, which I highly recommend. And, all kidding aside, safety glasses, acid and eyes very seldom go together, so, anytime you're dealing with any chemical at all, protect your eyes. I was sprayed in the eyes with gas one time, thought I was going to die, okay? I didn't, but horrible experience, by the way. So this stuff's a trip, okay? I know it's supposed to show up red, but it is green as all get out. And this is my little container, 10-to-1, so make sure, I'm going to fill this up halfway, and then I'm going to fill 5 full, right? Math, yay math. Okay, check that stuff out. Look how green that is. So I got my water, and I got my stain. And you're like, why do you have water? Well, everything I read or saw on, the YouTube channels, thank you all, by the way, indicated that, and most water-soluble anything, penetrates a little bit better when the substrate is damp. Not wet, because you have capillary action. The water wants to push it out. I learned that. Anyways, so just damp, and that allows it to flow, I guess, past the surface and get deeper in there. I don't know if that's true or not, The comments section, you guys are more than welcome, and please, by all means. Like I say, this is my first time touching this stuff. So, I mean, I'm lost as Hogan's goat here, okay? Which is why you should experiment, too. I mean, you just can't just be staining stuff off free willy-nilly. Some kind of unorthodox moron. And this is a 10-to-1, so my lovely wife was like, what if they mix the container wrong and it really is green? 30 minutes later. Good news, it's not green. We're all like, that looks green. It's green. I hope it's not green. No, it's not green. It is red. So you got a little bit going on. Okay, there is some modeling. It's doing some funky stuff. And I think I'm gonna give it another coat, see what happens. At this point, due to the fact that, you know, I'm gonna die sometime, I've decided to go ahead and double it. So it would be 5 to 1. I am curious to see what it'll do, double strength. You see it working? That's acid. Good morning, YouTubers. So this is 2 coats, what the equivalency of 2 coats at 5 to 1 ratio. So you can see we're working with this is what we're trying to match here. Good stuff, by the way. I mean, man, look at this. That's 2 coats on that picnic table. You can see we're sneaking up on it. You know, I mean, it's kind of close to what we're looking at. If you look at some of the poplar, okay, I mean, it's very, very similar in tone, and that's kind of what I'm after. So, hope that helps, y'all. So I'm just going to keep coating this thing, you know, coat after coat after coat after coat. I'll kind of let you in on what it looks like. How many coats? I'm not going to show you every coat. I know it's boring as sin. I wanted to see if there was a difference between multiple applications at, say, 5 to 1 versus fewer applications, 1 to 1, and to see how they would kind of patina, if that's a word in this industry. I'm not entirely sure, but as you can see, this is 15 coats. I know, right? How excessive. 15 coats at 5 to 1, and this is what I'm looking for, because when I wet it again, which you're going to see here in a sec, it really is nice and dark. I'm going to give it one more coat, and then this is about 4 or 5, I kind of lost track, of 1 to 1. So the more layers you add, obviously the richer the color, even if it is, you know, way more diluted. Well, the time has come. I've thrown in the towel. I'm going to go ahead and put my Surfkoat balance on there. They're not Surfkoat. Surfkoat. You'd think it'd be Surfkoat, but it's not. It's Surfkoat. So my understanding, you just spray this stuff on, and then it enhances it and buffers the acid. Ooh, enhancing. See it enhancing? Ah. Ooh. Ah. And then you rinse it off thoroughly. That's what they tell me. And then we're going to go into the finishing phase of the operation. And it also says that a pH should be between 6 and 8. And I don't have any litmus paper, so that ain't happening. But it's not rubbing off. Whoa, look at there, it is rubbing off. All right, well, here we go. The moment of truth. I know that maybe some of you are like, are you really going to put wood stain on your concrete? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe if it works, it stains, right? It stains everything. It's by definition stain. So let's see what she does. My substrate is thoroughly dry. And again, this is this stuff right here, which I can't speak enough of. If you like that color, it comes in one color. So deal with it. But look at that. And then you're all like, well, why don't you just do that? Why do acid and then do this? Well, because this is all part of the experiment. That's why. You know, you can't just experiment. But look how rich and dark that is. And we're going to do a bonfire test later, right? Because that's ultimately part of the equation. Now, on to the interior furniture polish. Because a lot of the concrete sealants are wax-based. I needed a silicone. Okay, here's another. I need to do a silicone, don't I, with this middle. That's what I need to do. All right, stay tuned. That's coming up next. I think I got some silicone. Okay, here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has darkened it. Yeah, we got to get some silicone in the mix. Why did I not think of that? You know how they take that silicone and they put it with a thinner of some form, whatever thin silicone. I have to look it up. I don't know if it's acetone, maybe. I don't think it's rubbing alcohol. I think it's acetone. But you mix it with acetone, and then you can soak a tarp in it. And the tarp becomes, or a canvas, rather. And the canvas becomes totally saturated with this silicone and becomes absolutely waterproof. So Not shiny, however. Dull as all get out. So there's a few coats of that. And then we'll let it dry. I'll go do the silicone thing, see what I can come up with, and be right back. Groovy. So I looked up what the cleanup was for 100% silicone, and it was mineral spirits. So we're going to rock on with a 50-50 mineral spirits silicone. This is at 50-50, okay? It just becomes kind of like a like a glue almost, you know. I would recommend it not so thick, and I'll research it, you know, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not just going to trudge forward with my actual project.
Yes.
Ooh. What's that? What do they call that? That ACMI or whatever?
ASMR.
ASMR jacked up silicone application. It is turning in a different color, isn't it? This is like patent pending stuff here. It is actually wet too. Uh-oh. What if we got a winner? Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, which one lasts the longest?
Well, like I say, all the concrete stains for high heat are all silicone based, but I mean they've got, you know, 90 chemicals in them. Okay, we're talking 2, so we'll see how that works. But check it out. Can't say it doesn't work. It's just a longevity thing, and this isn't exposed to the weather. You know, no sun, no rain, just heat and feet, wine, marshmallows. That's what this is all. All right, I'm going to buff out the wax. Let's see what that does. It's dry. Well, there, look at it. It's buffing. What's up? No, it's been 24 hours, and I want to give everybody kind of an update. Make sure, you know, nothing popped, nothing wrinkled, nothing fell off. Okay, so we still got our wax, silicone, and oil base. And you can see the wax is the only one with any kind of real sheen. It looks really good. It darkened the best. And I'm pretty excited about the fire test. We're going to do that this evening because it's just hot as a dickens right now, just like the rest of the world, right? And I was kind of curious, like what it does scratch-wise. So you can see the wax, it just scratches pretty easy. And that's just with my fingernail, for Pete's sake. So that's not good. Maybe a floor wax would be better. And then we got the silicone. It's a lot more scratch resistant. That's for dang sure. And then this would be the oil based. And it's pretty scratch resistant too, kind of, maybe, sort of. Okay, so the wax did like exceptionally horrible on the scratch resistant part, and these things are going to get beat up on pretty good. So we're going to have to abandon the wax only, right? And I'm kind of like, well, what are we going to do now, Stacey? I'm kind of excited about the wax, right? And she was like, I got an idea. Why don't we wax the oil, okay? Because the oil is the most scratch resistant at this point. And so I was kind of like, well, okay, we'll do half oil and wax. And then we'll sit it by the fire and see what that does. It is pretty though, look. And it matches the what I was shooting for a little bit better. And the oil, or the acid rather, does give it different effects too. So I think if we just went with straight Cabot oil-based stain, that it would be like more opaque. You wouldn't have any of that translucency thing going on. That's my humble opinion.
This is a test. This is only a test.
Well, good morning, YouTubers. As you can see, the results from last night's fire test have changed it dramatically, okay? Except for the silicone. The silicone basically stayed the exact same, along with the oil, except it's a little bit flatter, if you will. but the wax only lightened it right up. You got a neat effect, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's not what I'm after, because I'm after like that, right? Dark, because I'm trying to match that dark columns. So it's pretty interesting. I didn't think the wax only would lighten up like that, but boy, howdy it did, you know? And it's just as flat as you can get, you know, no gloss to speak of. The silicone held the temperature and the color perfect. So if you want to maintain it around a fire, that was 50% silicone, 50% mineral spirits. And then the wax on the oil base kind of gave it a good technique, and it's by far the most scratch resistant, by far. So that's what I'm gonna roll with. So the acid stain it gets deep down in the concrete. So if it does scratch, you know, it's still that, you know, same kind of general color. And then you can just always go through and add more wax and stain on the cracks, I would think. So we're gonna roll with 15 layers of 5-to-1 acid stain, coupled by 1 to 2 coats of oil-based, and I'm gonna treat that like a sealer, and then I'm going to buff it all out with some wax. And that's what we're gonna do moving forward.